I'm a fighter.
We'll play more of it in a second. It's fighter John Kahn joining me on Zoom now here on the Scott Sand Show. John, it's great to see you. Thanks for coming on the show, my friend.
Hey, Scott. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Congratulations. You got one of the most talked about, one of the most downloaded songs on digital downloads this week again.
Yeah, it's been, the reception has been humbling. As a songwriter, you just wanted to get your songs heard. And if it's made some impact, and I'm super grateful for it.
What was the inspiration behind this? And two, I think this is interesting because you wrote Fighter before the assassination attempt when Donald Trump stood up with blood on his ear and said, fight, fight, fight.
Yeah, that's one of the misconceptions about the song. I think people think that I wrote it in response to that first assassination attempt, which isn't the case. I'd seen everything that had been thrown at this man for years, since the moment he got elected, to impeachments, deplatform from social media, a raid at Mar-a-Lago, 4 cases across a bunch of different states. And then when I saw the conviction in the New York case, I saw the way he dealt with that. And it just, he walked up to the podium. He's got that unflappable demeanor that says, you know what, keep bringing it, and I'm going to keep fighting. And I sat there on the couch. I was just shaking my head, and I thought, man, this guy is just a fighter like we've never seen. And I went over to the piano, which is usually out of tune. This was no exception. And played a couple of chords. I'm self-taught, and came up with the melody and a few lyrics and brought it to Nashville, where I was writing with an amazing guy, an amazing writer named Chris Wallen. And we had never written before. So I think, he's written with Garth Brooks and Kenny Chesney and all these huge artists. And in walks a guy from LA who he doesn't know. And I think he thought, well, I don't know how this write's going to go.
Right. Here walks this guy from LA who wants to write about Donald Trump. So right there,
exactly.
You're making friends right off the bat.
Well, in all fairness, I did know that Chris's ideology would be in sync with mine. So I knew he wouldn't be offended by it. The only thing he might have been offended by was my musical ability, which gratefully he wasn't. And I played him the idea, and he said, let's do it. And an hour and a half later, it was done. And we tinkered with it over the course of a few weeks. And we finished the lyrics, and the song was done, but we hadn't produced it yet. And then, the whole world watched the first assassination attempt. And when President Trump stood up and put his fist in the air and yelled, fight, 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 I got goosebumps all down my body. And I called Chris and said, we got to put the song out. We got to produce it and get it done. And that's what happened.
Yeah, we're talking to John Kahn, Fighter. You can download it now. It's one of the most downloaded songs on any of the digital platforms again this week. Donald Trump shared it. You've got a video out about this that has great imagery of Donald Trump and what's been a historic precedent-setting campaign so far this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the video was pretty crucial. Because, the obvious route to go with a video like this would be to show images of strength. And as we were putting it together, we definitely included those images. But as we started to include the human side of President Trump that the left tries so hard to deny.
Wait, there's a human side to Donald Trump? Huh.
100%.
Weird.
And I think there are millions and millions of Americans that see him in a light that the left tries to deny. And so we realized that the video was a very important component to it. And we wanted to show him in a light that I think people feel in their hearts that support him.
It's kind of risky for you, for Chris, to write a song that you're actually admitting in public is about Donald Trump. That could be in Nashville, in Los Angeles, in the entertainment industry. That could be a career killer.
Well, I lost a few friends putting it out. I lost a date last Saturday night, but we don't need to get into that.
Wait a minute. You're losing dates because of ideology?
Oh, in L.A.?
In L.A.,
that goes without saying. Nashville's a little bit more open. Nashville, you can actually have a conversation. In Los Angeles, you can't.
I prefer dating liberal women. It's weird.
You do?
Yeah, it's just worked out that way, I think.
Interesting. Well, look, I mean, more power to you. I'm certainly open to that. If I'm open to anybody that's willing to have a conversation.
Did you know, John, that we would be talking about your love life when we started this conversation?
Scott, I kind of went into this hoping that we would. And now here we are. So,
well, I mean, in Nashville, it's hard to stand out though if you're trying to pick up a girl in a bar because everybody is a singer-songwriter in Nashville.
That's right. That's right. But look, the response has been. I think people know my ideology going in. I sort of came out of the conservative closet in Los Angeles many years ago because I was doing the Tea Party circuit, wearing a hat and sunglasses, singing a song about American exceptionalism. And I got profiled on the Wall Street Journal on the cover and then kind of came out on Megyn Kelly's show on Fox. So it's, I don't think it's going to affect me too much. I think a lot of people, strangely enough, I've gotten a lot of private notes from conservatives in LA that said, thank you for doing this. I can't do it yet.
Well, and John, yeah. I think there's been, I think that the supporters of Donald Trump and conservatives will also be a group that will rally behind someone that's willing to take that risk and step out and produce content that supports Donald Trump, that supports conservatism. We're seeing that in some of the niche movies that have been released recently and songs like this. I mean, the fact that you're one of the top 5, and I think you've been number 1 at some point, most downloaded songs, says a lot about the support that you can get for a song like this.
Absolutely. I think, look, if he's willing to put up with what he's put up with, and now after we wrote the song, there were, as we were talking about, 2 assassination attempts, and then he had a debate that was 3 against 1. I mean, I think, and this man just keeps going. He doesn't have to do this. So, the least I think that his supporters can do is find the tools that they have to use, whether it be a song or knocking on doors or whatever it is, however it is they want to show their support. I think we kind of owe it to the man to do that.
We're talking to John Kahn. Fighter is the name of the song. You can find him on social media, Mr. John David. That's Jon. Is there a website that you've created for downloads to make everything convenient, or just go to iTunes or Spotify?
It's on all the streamers. If you go to my Instagram, which is at John Kahn Music, JONKAHN Music, at the top in the link in bio, there's a link that goes to all the streamers, and you can find it there.
All right. So we know that Donald Trump himself and the Trump family have retweeted, have shared the video for Fighter. Do you know if you've been added to Donald Trump's rally playlist yet? He takes a lot of pride in putting that playlist together himself.
Well, strangely enough, at his rally in Pennsylvania, I was watching the stream on Right Side Broadcasting, and all of a sudden they were playing the video and the song. And it was the first time I saw it. And it that was bigger and more than I could ever have dreamed that would embrace that way.
Yeah. And I'm sure the rally crowd loves to see that video as well when they're getting ready for Donald Trump to come out to speak.
I hope so. That's the idea.
So what's your take on the political scene in Nashville versus Los Angeles? Where is this campaign headed from what you're hearing from the people you associate with?
Well, I think it's a very crazy year. I think that I don't want to get it too into politics as a songwriter, because we are always talking about how artists should, although I kind of crossed that bridge already.
Yeah, I think it's a little too late for you.
Maybe I won't use that excuse. Look, for me personally, I think that the longer the campaign goes, and there are not many days left, I think people are discovering that the other side isn't exactly solid in their argument. And I think the momentum's with Trump, if I had to say so.
And I think it's interesting, too, because Democrats and liberals have always had the benefit, the aid of Hollywood, whether it be musicians, Beyonce, Jay-Z come to mind, or television with The View and other television, Bill Maher and Comedy Central. It's about time that conservatives, that Republicans who have that ability to create content in support of a cause or a position share that talents with the world, and maybe it changes the mind, maybe it doesn't, but it at least evens the playing field a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when the bigger celebrities come out, I think their lives are so not relatable to the middle of the country that I think sometimes that even backfires. And I think that there's just such a disconnect between the Hollywood elite, the leftist elite, versus how people struggle to put food on the table, put their kids through school. And I think sometimes it hurts them when they put those celebs out.
John Kahn. It's called Fighter. Download it on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, wherever you get your music. Go to John Kahn Music on Instagram, JONKAHN, John Kahn Music. All of the links are there as well. I'm going to play the entire song here in a second. I got to take a break first. John, it's great to see you on Zoom. I'll share this video online later, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Scott. I appreciate it.
Thanks, John.